and not say things like, no matter what, we must win Nairobi.
That's by any means necessary.
By whatever means. Now, when you say such things, if Waiguru is your candidate, then she's going to win. And sometimes it doesn't matter that she has won fairly. The perception is that you said that she was going to win by hook or crook. Now, I don't want to cast aspersions on the personality of character of Anne Waiguru. I see that EACC has cleared her.
They cleared her?
I think, sometimes leaders and even citizens do themselves a lot of good to say that, look, if this is what people think about me, let me step aside. I can do other things. You don't have to be all the time within the public eye, in the public office, doing things which people don't believe that you are carrying out with the requisite integrity. That sometimes when people look at you, you may not be a thief, but when people look at you, they look at your face, they say, oh, so this is how the face of a thief looks like.
PLO, let me ask you this. If Waiguru does run, and Kidero insists on running for re-election, who would win it?
It will be a close call, but let me tell you, I do not know Waiguru much, but immediately she announced that she was thinking about running, we saw her receiving blessings in some worship center. We saw a number of women coming behind her, and we have seen individuals who say that Waiguru fits the bill. Let me tell you, Waiguru does have a fighting chance, and Kenyans are amazed. The Kenyan voter deserves to be studied by experts in political science. Their affinity to individuals who have been involved in activities of one kind or another is amazing. And I'm not saying that Anne Waiguru was involved in anything. I'm merely saying that she has been mentioned in a number of cases which call into question her integrity. But I hold the view that the voter that I know, the voter that responds to money if she has a war chest, that voter is capable of voting Anne Waiguru as the governor of this country.
And she can win?
Oh, she can win, and I wouldn't be surprised if she does.
Is that why none of us, the three of us, none of us can win?
We are completely unelectable.
Because we wear good suits? Or?
What do we offer to the electorate? First of all, how much money do you have?
Oh, very little.
Very little, and with the little money that you have, how can you be attractive to the Kenyan electorate? The Kenyan electorate must liberate himself or herself from the chains of the big appetite for ill-gotten wealth and from the clutches of the ethnic warlords. It is only then that he or she will be incapable of putting into office men and women who love this country. And I do not say that these other men and women do not love this country, but there is love and there is love.
And then there's Waititu, Barrack. Barrack, what does Waititu do? Does he go for Kiambu, or does he think he has a fighting chance in Nairobi?
Waititu has got his foot everywhere. We have had the...
Literally, he has his foot. He's kicking people on TV and stuff.
Yes, indeed. And we know the story of the character who was looking for something to eat. And he got at the crossroads, and he decided he would put one foot on this path and another foot on the other path. Half the time, he wants to be MP for Kabete. He wants to be governor for Kiambu. He wants to be governor for Nairobi. He wants to be senator for Nairobi. He wants to be everywhere all the time. And wherever it is he tells us he wants to go, we swing with him in that direction. And the point that PLO is making here is very critical. We must speak to this point. And this point we have alluded to a little earlier. That we have seen the season of people thronging the shrines, the places of worship, and we have seen the pious holy hands being placed on heads, apparently being blessed. Monday mornings are the days when we see in the newspapers pictures of these people from various shrines, and the road begins in the house of glory.
Imagine.
The place where people should be prefectured, that when these people arrive, even the liturgy is interrupted. The flow of the order of the service is interrupted. And I think some of these churches we even need to stop going to. And I say that deliberately. And I do hope that some of these men and women of God are watching out there. If you go to the Anglican church where I worship, you go to the Catholic church, you go to the mainstream churches, there is something called the prayer of Saint Chrysostom. And we know about John Chrysostom. And we know that John Chrysostom was an individual who railed against abuse of authority in the church, abuse of authority in the political domain. And he was the one individual who was saying things like, when people come to church and they're even bringing us alms, we need to examine these alms. We need to interrogate the so-called Sadaka Malum. But these individuals materialize in the church, and there's panic within the church that you find the holy man, the holy woman of God is trembling because power has arrived, and this power seems to be greater than the divine power that is supposed to be being preached from the pulpit, and we are waiting for Sadaka Malum with the trembling hands. I think that is where the rot begins.
That's where the rot begins.
And indeed.
I'm sorry, John who?
John Chrysostom.
John Chrysostom
was one of the fathers of the church.
Really?
Yeah, and
with
the complete Anglican liturgy, and I think even the Roman Catholic liturgy,
yes,
is not complete without the prayer of St. Chrysostom.
I thought it was, the prayer of St. Francis was good,
St. Francis
of Assisi
is
is
also
also
good.
one
There is
of
no
them.
shortage of holy men.
Tertullian, Eusebius, Origen, Clement of Rome. And they all would preach against the goings on within the church.
PLO, which brings
today.
me to my point.
Yes.
Have we forgotten God as Kenyans? Is this why we are digressing or we're tumbling into the unknown, into the abyss? Have we forgotten God?
We continuously as a nation mock God. And God, the God that I worship, cannot be mocked. When I grew up, there was something that we now call the pulpit, which we used to call the synagogue. It was only ordained ministers who would step on the synagogue. Today, you see your typical Kenyan clergyman, when he sees a politician from the MCA to the senator to the governor to the president, when they see them, he is asked to come and share his or her wisdom with the congregation. And it doesn't matter whether they worship in that church. They attend every church. They are Anglicans one weekend, they are Catholics the next, they are Presbyterians the next, they are Seventh-day Adventists on Sundays. And it is only in the Muslim mosques that I don't see them. And the clergy allow them. Why? Because we have fallen short of the glory of God. And we are mocking God, and our cup of iniquity is getting full, so that those who ought to be the moral barometer of our country have lost their direction, and they are pushing us into the abyss. And it's true, as it was said in the days of Nebuchadnezzar, that is written on the wall, mene, mene, tekel, upersin. We have been weighed and we have been found wanting. And if we are not careful, God is going to punish us a la Sodom and Gomorrah.
Absolutely, and 2017 is not that far away. With the Supreme Court the way it's constituted, Barrack, are we in trouble if there's a runoff? Are we in trouble?
The Supreme Court is in disarray. Let's look at it this way. Number one, the president of the Supreme Court is supposed to be retiring
in a few months.
Another 4-5 months time. That the deputy president of the Supreme Court, her fate is hanging in the balance. That there's a judge of the Supreme Court who is facing a tribunal. And when you look at this judge who is facing a tribunal, if he is found to be actually guilty as charged, then we must ask the question, what about the remaining 4 judges who also sat with him on the same bench, and they therefore write material for tribunal? So you have got an entire Supreme Court that is hanging in the balance.
And remember, even that Barrack, that the court fraternity, Mr. Odinga has already said, this time round, I'm not going to court.
I'm going to the streets.
He's going somewhere.
He's going somewhere. He said he's not going
hasn't said where he's going.
Yeah.
But in the old tradition, that somewhere never meant good things.
Correct.
So there is a sense in which this country must reason together. We must ask ourselves, having destroyed institutions, the reason why countries remain strong countries is because we have faith in institutions. And the judiciary is an institution that we retain because that is the arbiter of disputes. We are questioning the IEBC. We are questioning every other institution. And politicians are now saying that we do not believe in institutions. The court fraternity have already said we are going to set up our own parallel tallying center. What if there is a conflict between their tally and the tally of the IEBC?
Yes.
The other formation, Jubilee, may also say we are also setting our own. So we'll have 3 different results.
Speaking of tally, Barrack, real quick, Chicken Gate has come back to haunt us. There was a headline in today's Business Daily. Now the EACC is being told, you know what, prosecute your people, because the English folks in that company that did the deal with our folks, they were prosecuted and jailed. What are you people doing? The Attorney General has had the file for 2 weeks now.
Now, nothing is going to happen from that fraternity. The closest it ever came was when he was there as the director of the Kenya Anti-Corruption Authority.
Yes.
And you know, I met a cabinet minister in Mombasa in the last government, and he told me, tell your friend that when we give people jobs, we don't give them jobs so that they can begin harassing us. Of course, he'd been talking about some high voltage files, and I delivered the message. I told him that a cabinet minister has told me to tell you that when they give you jobs, like the job they have given you, they don't give you the jobs so that you can begin harassing them. And I met a member of parliament from his backyard in Luoland, in Kisumu, and he told me, tell your friend that he is harassing us, and we are going to finish him on the floor of parliament.
Goodness.
And it came to pass. So these are decoys. These are things which are put there as scarecrows, that they look for little fish to fry and to flag around and to say that, see what we have done, see what we have caught. They're not about doing anything that we expect. They've been there for 25 years.
And nothing's been done.
And nothing has been done.
And the EACC is moribund. It looks like a moribund.
Let me be a little, as I always say, charitable to them. Remember that these institutions may have the will. But what is the role of the EACC in all this? The role of the EACC is to investigate and to pass over the file to the DPP, and the role of the DPP is to take it to court. And we know all about the courts. Anybody who has money in this country, I remember a cabinet minister whom we had recommended for prosecution said, take me to court immediately. I'm going to ensure that I am acquitted. And after he was acquitted, within 2 weeks, I met him at a hotel, at the Serena Hotel, and he told me, I told you, don't waste your time.
And so today the AACC is not taking anybody to court.
No.
Its task is to clear people.
Goodness gracious me, gentlemen. You know, let's take a break, but when we come back, where do we go from here? Where do we go? Is this going to be a failed state?
No.
Are we going the Burundi way?
No, we will not fail. I refuse to accept that this is a failed state. I still hold the view that there are good men and good women in this country.
Where are they?
They are there.
What hole are they hiding in?
Said that many of the children of light are in the business of complaining in their bedrooms. The time has come that they must rise and come out and speak what language ought to be spoken for the sake of this country.
So they shouldn't be on Twitter?
They should be on Twitter, but they should come out. They should not tweet anonymously. They should come out and make their voices heard. They should stop seeing things from ethnic prism, because when this ship sinks, and I said it once before, when the Titanic sank, it took everybody, those in the first class, in the second class, and in the third class. But this country will not and must not sink. If some of us are there, we'll keep shouting from the rooftops to ensure that it does not. Keep shouting, gentlemen. By the way, is it just me, or does it always rain when you...
Showers of blessings.
Is that what it is?
There's a beautiful Christian song, Showers of Blessings.
Sing it for me.
Showers of blessings. Showers of blessings.
But how come your Nehru suits aren't getting wet? Is this a cheap suit?
That is a cheap suit. It's a shiny suit from the Soviet Union.
It's a
shiny He called my My suits.
It's a Parisian suit. It's not meant to be rained on.
No. Sasa imeharibika.
These are not ordinary man suit.
At Barrack M, at its PLO Lumumba, at Koinange Jeff. The hashtag Politics 101. I tell you, these guys are no doubt the best political tag team on TV. And it may rain, it may drizzle, but look at them. They're standing strong. They're not moving. That's why JKL is the show to be on. And JKL, live from the Villa Rosa Kempinski, takes a break. We'll be back. Maybe in